Now it's on. Thank you to my wife for my microphone being turned on. Sorry about that. Long day. Let's start over. That's easy. Starting over, not that difficult. Welcome aboard to the aftermarket recap. My mic is muted. I got it. Don't worry. So we are now 10 minutes in. So I will put a note that 10 minutes in, the mic is on. Of course. Can you tell? Long day? Anyways, back to it. We are now, let's start from the beginning. God, this sucks. Okay, welcome everybody to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia. Hello, anyone home? I'm here. Is the mic on? Can you hear me? Hey, there we go. Starting back again. Let me get a swig of water to start over again. I went over a lot. Thanks for my wife for knocking on the door violently while I'm having the video on. There we go. Anyways, welcome aboard to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thank you so much for joining. Bottom right hand corner of your screen, if you can hear me, click on that white logo, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Hit that like button. Hit that like button because the mic is on. Thanks again. All right, let's go over it again. We'll start from scratch. Very easy stuff. Dow Jones up 564. NASDAQ up 3% today. Nice. S&P up 2.43%. The VIX down 9.28%. Broke down a descending triangle formation on the hourly. I took that on Twitter. RSP, which is the equal weight ETF of the S&P, up 1.71%. Small caps did well today, up 2% on IWM. The dollar hit major resistance, fell back down a little bit, flat. 10-year yields down 1.782%. That's where it settled. Again, that is good for people who are trying to borrow. Rates will be going up higher, so if you want to lock in a mortgage rate, right now might be the time. Gold was down 0.30% on GLD. Silver down 1.47%. 2071. What does that tell me? Risk on environment. A lot of people want to go ahead and take on a little risk. This is why Bitcoin's up today. Bitcoin 37,939. I say we get to 40,000 by the weekend. Let's take a look at my crypto portfolio, like I always show. 134 here. My high was 240,000, so I'm still down about 110,000 on paper. Up 5.17% today. Very nice. I did buy some Matic a day ago, bought some XLM a day ago, bought some XTC a day ago, bought some Bitcoin 2 days ago. But I do that every week. Nothing's really changed. Yada, yada, yada. Next is high yield credit, up 0.28% on those bonds. That's a good sign. LQD, which is investment grade credit, up 0.11%. Let's see, crude oil. Again, a lot of geopolitical tensions, as we know, 87.29 a barrel. I still say we're going to get $100 a barrel, then we'll reject and probably get back to around 70 to 60. So $100 a barrel, I would take oil longs, all of them. Gasoline, $2.54, up 1%. Natural gas spiked as well. Russia is a big producer of natural gas. They want to go and invade Ukraine. Very ugly commodity spike on those geopolitical tensions. They usually don't last. Gold futures down 0.15%, below that 1800 level. Silver futures 22.49, down 0.82%. That's 22.49 an ounce. Okay, great. Now we're back to it. What I was saying in terms of today, what exactly happened? So what we had today was basically hitting the top range of the S&P chart. Top range of the S&P range here. You could see right around 44, 42. That's the level we're looking for, right? We want to break that, then 4,500. 4,500 would confirm that we're basically the worst is over. I have said, and I have put on the comments, that 4260 is our bottom. I even put that on Instagram. So if I'm wrong, by all means, laugh at me. It's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and put my nuts out there and say 4260 is the low of the S&P that we're going to get. That's correction territory. We already hit 10%. After all of Monday's craziness, we know what happened. That was a basic liquidation and a big bounce up. Now we're stuck in this range. Out of all this that you see right here, we ended the week green. What does that tell you? That's pretty good stuff. Now again, we need to still break 44, 42. But what happened today that caused this kind of ignition to the upside? Well, we had a GDP reading forecast from the Atlanta Fed, and it's called GDP Now, and they report that I believe every week or so, or maybe a couple of days or so. It's just like a forecast that they say. Well, their forecast for the GDP for Q1 is 0.1%. Imagine that's only 1/10 of 1%. That's not great, but that gives the Fed a little wiggle room. Now they say, wait a minute, economic growth isn't that solid. Can the economy handle more than one rate hike, more than two rate hikes? A lot of people are pricing in 5, 6, 7 rate hikes. think it's a little much. I would say probably 5 max, if anything. But again, I'm not the Federal Reserve. We'll see. But that kind of brought the high betas back in. We may not get such a quick advance in terms of rate hikes. March being a 25 basis point hit. If we get 25 basis points, man, that's going to be to the moon. We're going to get a big pop. If it gets 50 basis points, I think that's the expectation. So I don't think much will happen. If we start getting to some crazy like 75 basis points, yeah, 42.60 is out the window, if anything. But again, I'm still holding pat. 42.60. You see a triple bottom. 1, 2, 3, and like I've said before, the longer the range that we've been consolidating, right around 100 to 150 handles, meaning 150 points on the S&P, that turns into a base. And again, if you keep rejecting the lows and you keep tapping the highs and you're creating a base, again, you're looking at it in the totality of the sense, you're more likely going to go higher. Why do I say that? Because we've had the same exact consolidation for the past 2 years, and there's only been 2 times that it actually went down, while like 13 times it went up. So again, probabilities. I can't really say for sure what the hell's going to happen. If I knew the future, guys, I wouldn't be trading. I'd be playing the lotto. So there you go. So it's not about predicting the future. It's like using probabilities as always. So kind of keep that in the back of your head. Looking at the daily here we broke the 78.6 fib. I bought a Fibonacci chart here from the top to the lowest part of the time frame that we had, and you can see 44.69, like I've said, 4,500 would get us above the 61.8 fib line. 45.34 would get us on the 50-yard line to the top all-time high. So 35.34 would be excellent. That would be about 120 points where we are. Could we get there? Maybe if we have a good employment report. Maybe if earnings keep coming strong. Thank you, Apple had a great day. More than likely, you guys own some Apple in your IRAs and 401ks as well. Had a great day today, up 7%. Look at the names that were up today. Football, Mara, Riot, Snap, Peloton, DraftKings, CGC, Upstart, Zoom, GME, Square, BlackBerry, Penn, Coin, AMC, Palantir. All high betas, and they were up. And I said, if you get the ones that fell the furthest, like small caps, high betas, if they start bouncing consistently, that indicates usually a bottom. Now what's the other side? That's where I stop with the mic. Here's the other side of things. Keep in mind here, guys, we had a very nice GDP print, 6.9%. But right around 4% of that was inventory builds from companies. So they're buying up inventory to sell. Again, they know demand is hot because we have supply chain issues. But they're going to say, hey, let's build up some inventory so we can get rid of it. If demand stays the same, everything's going to be fine. If demand slows, lower prices, inflation goes down. So I think that's a really good idea macroeconomic wise. But for a company, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a franchise owner of McDonald's. Maybe they order too much burgers and they can't sell enough. They have to cut prices, right? It's all supply and demand, guys, at the end of the day. Keep that in mind. But again, that GDP reading was critical. That 4% was all inventory builds. So again, we need to see if we're going in from a manufacturing economy, from goods to services. There's not much inflation in services as there are in goods. There's no supply issues with services. You're not going to get supply issues with hotels. That's not the same thing as supply issues with semiconductor chips. So the real question here is, does the U.S. economy pivot to more of a service industry where inflation is not a problem, or are we going to still stick with the manufacturing and import old school type of way? Who benefits from this? Cloud companies do well because they are service based. Again, anything that comes in terms of packaged goods, that sort of thing, they will still get a little bit of sideways action. Apple being one of the very few exceptions, they had an exceptional quarter. Again, they're in high demand, but look at their service revenue. It was insane. They had a great service revenue. If Apple itself was if we just took out the service segment of Apple and we created them Apple Services, a separate company, they would be a Fortune 100 company. That's how much revenue they make. If you took AirPods and made them a separate company, they'd be a Fortune 500 company. In short, Apple's a cash machine. But again, back to it in terms of the macroeconomic impact, we want to take a look again. 44.42 is the level we want to break first. That's your first marker. 45.34 would be amazing. Let's see what next week gets. We have a lot of earnings. We have a jobs report coming next Friday. Let's see what we get. But for the meantime, This is where we are. Again, a nice day. Nice to cheer, sure, after a crazy Monday, but at the end of the day, we still got some work to do. Let's go answer some questions. His mic is in a bear market. Yes, my mic is extremely bearish. I agree. My bad. I had it on. I didn't turn it on. Idiot. Let's see. Did I get any calls? I did. We got into some calls today. We got into some Mara calls for over the weekend, and I think I had the 23 calls. The 23 calls. I have that. Let me see. Yes, the 23 calls. I'm up 18%. It is up after hours at 22.22. We should, if everything holds, we should be able to catch that on Monday. The worst thing that happened this week was that we had Apple calls from last week, 170 strike. Thanks a lot. Some BS on Monday. In the money by the end of the day. We had to close for a loss, but it was in the money. So if you wanted to exercise the calls, that's one thing. Kind of expensive. But again, the analysis was right. The earnings went on point, but we just ran out of time. Good news on that note is that we have a UOA, which is the 185 calls for May 20th. Apple calls 30% right now, so we should get that on Monday if all stays the same. If we break 174 on Apple, that's huge. That would be absolutely crazy because that will push the S&P forward. Let's see, have March rate hikes have been priced in yet? You tell me. I mean, why not? Rate hikes, right? I mean, does one rate hike or two rate hikes equate to 10% correction in the market? Heaven forbid we have 5. We'd be at 0 pretty soon. So I think it's all priced in. All the fear, all the anxiety is all priced in because if you look at the RSI and all oscillators, they are showing oversold on the daily on the S&P. All oversold. The last time we had this much of an oversold level, COVID and 2008. And those were absolute crashes. We're not in a crash at all. Let's see. Thoughts on demand slowing because higher rates and debt more expensive, more to pull forward demand during the pandemic? Yes. So again, in regards to debt, that would slow spending down, but that's what you want because you want to have a lower inflation. You want to have less accessibility to capital. You don't want to cut off liquidity completely, but you just want to, kind of trail it back a little bit. 0%, is where we are currently on the Fed funds rate. And again, higher rates will dampen or slow the housing market. Good sign for people who are trying to buy. That's good. Again, then home prices will stabilize and not soar where it comes to the point where people can't afford it. So again, nature is healing, let's just say. Part 1. What do you think about about a certain Bank of America economist article stating that he believes due to the Fed's rather hawkish stance, there may be a total of 5 rate hikes this year? Reduce the total amount of rate hikes needed 23-24. Word is more simply, how large of a chance does it have a chance to occur? Okay, that's Preston's question. I said that, but I kind of gave that answer first. I think my mic was muted. So we're pricing in 5 rate hikes. Let's go with that baseline. Some are pricing in 7. Okay, we just had that GDP number, the great one at 6.9, but the GDP now level, that's from the Atlanta Fed, is at 0.1%. Now, if you're Powell, you're walking a really tightrope here. Do you really want to rate hike on a slowdown? You really want to run a rate hike on a boom when things are going well? Obviously, things are going relatively decent in terms of economics. It really depends who you ask, obviously, but jobs are plentiful. It's not like you can't find work. So again, I think that's a pretty good sign. People have money in their pocket to spend, I assume. So again, I can't speak for everybody. But 5 rate hikes, I say we get through the first one in March, see how we go. The question is now, is it 25 basis points or 50? I think before we start looking at 5, 10, 20 rate hikes, knock out the first one first, I say. Let's not ask for dessert while we haven't even eaten our appetizer, I say. Hi, Gar, thanks. Thoughts on Alphabet Google chart? I believe Google was up today. Mostly everything was. And Google was up. Look at the daily on Google. I am a shareholder. Again, we need to retake this 27.05 level. That's the 200-day moving average. More than likely, we'll get there if we get a continuation. I think Google reports next week. Don't quote me. I will take a look at the earnings reports, the calendar. I'll get that to you tomorrow on Twitter and Instagram. And then we have a non-farm payroll report on Friday. So kind of a busy week. Not tons in terms of economic data. Inflation readings will probably be in a couple weeks, if anything. But the non-farm payroll report, which is the jobs data, that's coming in next Friday. You're welcome. And there to see if anyone had any questions. He's going to be very unhappy when he realizes how he got to repeat. That's okay. No worries. Yes, I will join Nico Wolf. He's on Nico Wolf here. Nick on Instagram live today. So again, 5:27. You figure it out. I think it was at 10 minutes. But again, thanks again for the heads up. I try not to look at the live chat when I'm talking because I'm trying to focus on one thing. You know, I can't do this with my eyes. I don't have it like that. But I apologize for the mic issue. The mic, you have to use the mic. I've used the microphone on the iMac. It isn't the best. I've gotten a lot of complaints on it. This is a Bluetooth mic. My apology, guys. It's been a heck of a day. It's been a heck of a week. I'm going to enjoy an alcoholic beverage, preferably Jack Daniels. So I'll leave it there. CPI is on February 10th. There you go. He got it. So with that being said, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. NFL Championship Sunday. I'm just going to go and pick here. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Rams. Chiefs and Rams. I'm going to go with favorites. You never know. Things may change. I'm kind of hoping for the Bengals because they've never won a Super Bowl. So I'm cheering for the Bengals. Nothing against the Chiefs. Nothing against the Rams. Nothing against the 49ers. Even though the 49ers beat my Cowboys. But again, I really don't have a dog in this fight. But I'll go for the Bengals. They've never won one. And I think they deserve to win one. Why the hell not? But, you know, betting against Mahomes is kind of dumb. Can't really do that. So, either there. All right, guys. Yes, I believe Bengals are America's team now. I like Joe Burrow. I've really liked him since LSU. He's a great player. I have some friends of mine that are from Cincinnati that have DM'd me. They're like, what do you think? And this was back in week 12. And I said, Bengals are pretty good, man. Don't sleep on the Bengals. They're a good team. I thought the Titans were probably Super Bowl bound, but the Bengals beating them was pretty big. So, we'll see what we get from there. Have a great rest of your afternoon, guys. Joey B's the truth. You never know. And Mr. Cigar Smoker. Mr. Cigar Smoker. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, oh boy. Mahomes got some competition in the AFC, and Herbert ain't bad either. Lamar Jackson ain't bad. And if Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver, popcorn time. And we'll leave it at that. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. We'll catch you guys on Twitter, as always, for any market updates. Follow us on Twitter, @G.A.R Capital. Always glad to have you. YouTube will always be free. Twitter will always be free, no matter what. Okay? So that's your lifeline to us. Have a great one, guys. Cheers.